When it comes to Jake Gyllenhaal, most people recognize the name from iconic roles in Brokeback Mountain, Nightcrawler, and more recently playing a Spider-Man villain. But for some fans, especially those aligned with Taylor Swift's glittery guitar-strumming army, Jake is known for something else entirely, being that guy. You know, the elusive ex-boyfriend who broke a pop star's heart and kept her scarf hostage. But is Jake really the heartbreaker Hollywood paints him to be? Or is he just your average commitment-phobic actor navigating romance under the glaring lights of the paparazzi? Let's break down Jake's long, winding, often eyebrow-raising dating history and see what patterns emerge age gaps. Lots of them. The early days, let's rewind to 2002. Jake, a fresh-faced 22-year-old, starts dating actress Kirsten Dunst, who was even younger at the time. The pair were introduced by Jake's sister Maggie Gyllenhaal, who co-starred with Dunst in Mona Lisa Smile, and probably thought, hey, why not add Matchmaker to my IMDb page? Things escalated quickly. The couple moved in together into a $1.7 million LA home and adopted a German Shepherd puppy named Atticus. But by 2004, the love story fizzled. While the media-friendly version claimed they remained friends, reports later surfaced that they battled over who got to keep Atticus. Jake eventually won the pup, who lived until 2015. R.I.P. to the only innocent party in this breakup. Kirsten described Jake as a stay-at-home boy, while she was more of an out-on-the-town girl. They were basically the rom-com version of a mismatched Sims couple, doomed to break up as soon as one tried to party, while the other passed out on the couch. From Witherspoon to Wither Spoiled. Post-Dunst, Jake took a brief detour from dating younger women and found love with someone closer to his own age, Reese Witherspoon. They met on the set of Rendition in 2007 and began what seemed to be a grounded, wholesome relationship. By 2009, they were gardening together at Reese's countryside farmhouse, raising cucumbers and chickens. You know it's real love when chickens are involved. Reese gushed about Jake in interviews, making the world believe they were just a wedding band away from domestic bliss. Then, plot twist, mere weeks after that loving interview, the couple split. Reese had barely finished describing their homegrown tomatoes when the tabloids announced the breakup. Imagine waxing poetic about someone in People magazine, only to find yourself deleting them from your contacts a month later. Brutal. Jake later described Reese as one of the smartest and strongest women he's ever met, which sounds sweet until you realize it's basically his default post-breakup line, the Swiftpocalypse. Ah yes, the infamous chapter of Jake's romantic saga that still haunts him over a decade later, Taylor Swift. They dated briefly in 2010, she was 20, he was 29, and the relationship was barely long enough to make it to Christmas. But oh, the legacy it left behind. Despite keeping things low-key in public, they spent Thanksgiving together at Maggie Gyllenhaal's house. Yes, that Thanksgiving. That's when Taylor allegedly left behind her now mythical scarf, which later became the centerpiece of one of her most emotionally charged songs, All Too Well, and the extended 10-minute version of All Too Well, aka Swiftie Scripture. Taylor lays bare the emotional wreckage. She sings about a man blaming their age difference, a missing birthday party, and the scarf he never returned. It was less of a breakup ballad and more of a poetic lawsuit, and fans, God bless them, treated it like an FBI case. Jake, for his part, responded years later by saying the song wasn't about him. It was about Taylor's relationship with her fans, which, let's be honest, is the equivalent of saying, this fire has nothing to do with me, even though I was holding the match. And if you think the Swifties forgot, think again. They came for his neck harder than taxes come for celebrities. Jake's dating pattern, statistically speaking. Let's take a moment to address the elephant in Jake's dating room, the age difference. If someone ever made a graph tracking Jake's age versus the ages of his girlfriends, it would start to look suspiciously like a downward slope. He was 25. He dated Jenny Lewis, who was 20. Then came Kirsten, 22 and 20. He briefly dated Natalie Portman, who's about the same age. Then Reese Witherspoon, 4 years older. After Reese. He veered back to his younger lady lane. In 2010, he dated Taylor Swift, 20, when he was nearly 30. In 2011, he reportedly dated Anna Kendrick, 5 years younger, followed by Jessica Lowndes, 9 years younger, and then Emily Donato, 12 years younger. We're starting to lose count of all the she was in her early 20s relationships. Hen came Alyssa Miller, other 11-year gap. Ruth Wilson briefly offered age gap relief with a smaller difference. But in 2018, Jake settled down with French model Jeanne Cadieux, who is 16 years younger. He running joke? Jake keeps aging, but his girlfriend's ages remain suspiciously static. As Taylor once put it, I'll get older, but your lovers stay my age. the serial boyfriend accusations. Jake's romantic resume has led to some heavy criticism. Online sleuths and TikTok comedians have dubbed him a Hollywood F-boy, someone who swoops in, dates young, disappears, and somehow always manages to dodge accountability. There have been whispers about predatory behavior, though it's important to clarify that nothing he's done is technically illegal. Creepy? Possibly. Calculated? Maybe. But criminal? The biggest concern seems to revolve around power dynamics. Why does a man in his 30s and 40s keep gravitating toward women barely out of college? Why is a 30-year-old man dating someone who can't even rent a car without an extra fee? And while Jake hasn't exactly been Leonardo DiCaprio level blatant about it, Leo reportedly dumps women before they turn 26 like it's a gym membership. The pattern is hard to ignore. Jake today. Despite the chaotic past, Jake Gyllenhaal seems to have mellowed out a bit. Since 2018, he's been in a long-term relationship with Jean Cadieux. The two are rarely seen together and keep their relationship intensely private, a departure from Jake's paparazzi-plagued romances of yesteryear. On The Howard Stern Show, Jake gushed, calling Jan the most amazing woman he's ever met. They've been together for years now, which in Hollywood is practically a golden anniversary. Will they get married? Probably not. Jake once hinted that he's deeply in love, but private people don't always broadcast their milestones or buy rings. The verdict on Jake. Jake Gyllenhaal's dating history reads like a blend of rom-com scripts and emotional indie films, equal parts adorable, concerning, and confusing. He's been branded a heartbreaker, a playboy, and everything in between. Some fans argue he's just another guy who dates around and occasionally screws up, while others believe his habit of dating much younger women reflects a deeper issue with power and maturity. Either way, the facts remain. He broke Taylor Swift's heart, possibly kept her scarf, and continues to raise eyebrows with each new romance. And while we can't change his past, we can enjoy the art that bloomed from it because, let's face it, all too well, 10-minute version is a cultural treasure. Just maybe don't let him near your Thanksgiving dinner or your scarf drawer. And that's a wrap on Jake Gyllenhaal's romantic roller coaster. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's smoothest heartbreaker, make sure to smash that like and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and remember, we get older, but Jake's girlfriends still don't. See you in the next one.